the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, bringing travel and conference tourism in particular to a standstill. So in 2020, the Durban ICC was left with about 15% of the previous year's revenue. The IATF, the Intra-African Trade Fair 2021, could not have come at a better time for Africa's leading convention center. In fact, that's where we find my co-anchor, Ayanda Nyathi, who joins us now live. I mean, those numbers, Ayanda, for 2020, and understandably so, events were not taking place. People were not allowed to gather in small, never mind enclosed areas like an ICC venue. 15% in 2020. I wonder whether 2021 will actually be any better.
Well, we'll find out sooner than later. Michelle, good morning to you. And you're absolutely right. The devastating impact of COVID-19 has had a really tough hit, or really massive hit, perhaps, on specifically conferencing, event centers, to be more exact. And at some stage, we actually never even knew if we'd be able to ever even hold events like the one we're seeing take place throughout the week here at the Durban ICC. But for more context on what it's taken to keep the building behind us going and what it means for this continental affair to be held here, let's bring in the CEO of the Durban ICC. Her name is Lindiwe Lacharibe. She joins us now just outside the building, Shalit, and it's great to speak to you, ma'am. Thanks very much indeed for making time to chat to us.
Morning, Ayanda.
So let's begin by just understanding the impact that COVID has had specifically on the Durban ICC. Hosting something like the event that's taking place here couldn't have come at a better time.
Absolutely. You know, Ayanda, the COVID-19 has been such a pain for especially the hospitality industry and the tourism. And the past 20 months has been really hard for us. But we are grateful at the Nkosi Albert Luthuli complex, but we were able to repurpose the center. We embarked on the virtual and hybrid events. But I must tell you, it was really, really a struggle because people want the face-to-face. People want to see each other. But we managed through the COVID. It took us a great deal of time. It took away business from us because people had to postpone. The gatherings were limited, as you remember. And then we got a little bit of a break with the easing of the levels. Now that we're in level 1, that's why we're able to have the Intra-African Trade Fair. But prior to that, it was truly, truly difficult. We lost 15, almost quite a percentage of revenue that we could have received here.
Yeah.
If you look at what we normally make, it's almost about 200 million, or between 180 million and 200 million. Out of that, this year alone, we've just made only 15% of that. So it's been really, really hard.
Right, and the difficulty, of course, is that whether or not you're running an event in a building like this, you have to keep up with the upkeep, right? There's maintenance, there's buildings, there's the integrity of the structure that you need to think about. Speak to us about how worried you might have gotten about being able to at least cover those costs.
So you must understand that those operating expenses that are just there, that you cannot, do without. And we had to make sure that the five-star establishment is still kept in that manner. So we embarked on the maintenance plan, making sure that our lifts are really working in that way. We use this quiet period to now rechange our lifts and all that to be able to take care of the people that are disabled or are people that are made differently, because you and me, when you get into a lift, you can reach up to that level. So we were able to change all those lifts and all that and those things. The maintenance that we did really helped us. We got an opportunity to multi-skill our staff, because you must understand now the little people that we have had to be able to be upskilled so that they could multitask. So we had a chance of doing that. But importantly, we were able then to make sure that we kept everybody together, and we upped our COVID protocols in making sure that everybody is healthy, everybody is taken care of, encouraging people to go and look after their health, and making sure that mentally we stay in touch with them, we look after them. So that helped us.
Yeah.
And you must know that whether there's COVID or not, we still have to pay for lights and water and all those things. But we've had enough revenue to keep us in that main. But right now, we don't have any. So we need more events to keep us going.
To what extent, speaking about that, do you feel that this particular event provides you some kind of blueprint for how to host massive gatherings in a context of a global health crisis? I mean, at some stage, you had 7 heads of state in the building right behind us. Pulled it off with some difficulty, but pulled it off nonetheless. Lessons learned about how that could help with future events?
I think the stakeholder engagement is very important, and I'm thankful to the various stakeholders that helped us to put us together. We couldn't have done this on our own. We had various stakeholders who had sleepless nights making sure that this worked. So, because the important thing for us, nobody lost their lives during this period, nobody died, during this period, nobody got sick. So it's just working together, collaboration, making sure that the communication is open, the planning was just vigorous. But the important thing is people respecting the protocols of COVID-19, making sure that, as you can see, I'm sure you saw, we have sanitizers all over, we have masks everywhere, and encouraging people to make sure that they're vaccinated. Of course, we're not forcing people to come here like some of the other centers. Yeah. I'm talking about globally now. When I talk to my colleagues in the US or in the UK, they don't let people in their center unless you can show the certification that you're vaccinated. We're not forcing people that right now because we can't infringe on their human rights. But again, I must just say, the collaboration with the stakeholders was very important for us, and that's what worked for us.
Absolutely. I imagine it's the kind of lessons that many other centers will be taking moving forward. Thanks very much indeed for giving us a snapshot of some of the lessons learned up to this far. That's, of course, Lindiwe Rakgaribe, who is the CEO of the Durban ICC here, giving us really a sense of what it's taken to pull together an event like this, the first of its kind, at least in South Africa, since COVID-19 hit. And I imagine the kind of event, hopefully, that now we'll know how to hold whilst we deal with this deadly virus.
Absolutely. Thanks very much indeed for that. Ayanda Nyathi live to us there from outside the Durban ICC. It's day 4 of the Intra-African Trade Fair 2021.